This video is to demonstrate the game I just made over the past 60 hours. This is my submission to Ubisoft Toronto Next. From the start, I wanted to challenge myself to make a 3D game simply for the technical challenge. Unfortunately, it was only after 4 or so hours of playing it with OpenGL that I read the rules stating that I'm not allowed to change the underlying API. I'm still kind of mad at myself for that, but I've really only got myself to blame. I did sort of manage 3D though in the end, as you can see. Having a stationary camera is useful because it means that the Z-axis is really easy to calculate. And the only difficulty is that I need to actually enforce the Z-axis manually since OpenGL can't come to the rescue. Before I start the walkthrough, I'd like to state that this is a puzzle game, and I intended for it to be played blind, so be warned, the rest of the video contains spoilers. So starting from level 1, you can see that the controls are mouse and space to detonate a bomb. So let's try that out and see what it does. Oh, it moves the Bomberman 2 spaces to the right. So as you can see, we've sort of pushed ourselves in a corner. The only thing we have left to do is fall off, and we are given a prompt to restart the level. So let's actually complete it as intended this time. There we go. As you can see, I did manage to emulate at least 3D rotation after a bit of trouble. I accomplished it by using orthographic perspective and rendering my models in Blender to sprite sheets. This was my first time using Blender, and I had a lot of fun learning the basics. I also implemented the purple enemy in the game. You have to get rid of them, as you can tell by this tooltip, before you are able to complete the level. So that's level 2. There's the animation again. I really like the effect it had. I'm not much of an artist myself, so I like to do what I can in programming. So here's level 3 where it starts to get interesting. Here's where I introduce the concept of breakable bricks. So as we try to progress through the level, you'll see exploding a bomb breaks the bricks beneath it. So we can try to complete it as intended. And oh, that's a bit interesting. So I also included a mechanic called for camera rotation. And if we rotate the camera, we'll see that actually the block was not where it seemed at first. So we can try to complete this again by actually following where the block is. And yep, there we go. So in this level, I wanted to confuse the player by thinking that they have to go right. But once you're here, it's actually a dead end. You can't really go anywhere. So let's restart that. The correct solution is to go left. Break these blocks here, and then push yourself onto the end. So you might think that storing every frame for a rotation is a bit excessive. However, I did make some efforts to limit the size. You'll notice that every tile is rotationally symmetrical. This is useful because it means I only need sprites to cover a fraction of the full 360 degrees. Since every sprite here is rotationally symmetrical every 90 degrees, that's all I had to do. So divide the frames by 4. It does mean I had to make some concessions with the textures at the top of the blocks. You'll see the door looks more like a hatch than it does a block, than it does a door like in the original game. So in this level, I wanted to give the player options to see maybe if they had different ideas to complete. So you might originally think that the path is to go this way. However, you'll see that now we're kind of blocked. If we try to continue, we can't. So the actual solution is to go this way, and then down, and around, and we're done. So there's one more level in this game, which is about to come up here. Seeing as it is the last level, I'll leave it as an exercise to the viewer. I do wish I had time to create more, but as it currently stands, it's 10 p.m. and I really have to submit this. So thank you very much.